Welcome ladies and gentlemen, Michael aka Spirit Shard here with a vlog for September 20th of 2014. The game in the background is Gunz 2. You can check it out over on Steam or wherever it's hosted in your region. I'm not sure where EU is hosted, but I know it's not Steam. But I think you can still play Steam version. Anyways, this week's topic had me stop breathing. Not joking. I began turning purple in excitement before I was able to catch any oxygen. But if you don't care about the topic, go ahead and click on the annotation to skip over to the Spirit Play and Crystal Grimoire news. Also, if you don't feel like watching the video or want to read along, the script will be available on my written blog, link in the description. So what is the topic for today? Topic, Final Fantasy XIII Trilogy on PC and why it's relevant. Yeah, so Final Fantasy XIII on PC. This news, as I said before, literally had me stop breathing for several seconds. I did my daily glance at new releases on Steam and noticed Final Fantasy XIII on top. First thought being, I read that wrong. 2 seconds of page loading later, I was not in error. Available October 9th. This game will unlock in approximately 2 weeks, 6 days, and 20 hours. That oh so dreaded green Steam box holds me away from my inevitable download. I love Final Fantasy XIII and its sequels, and I'm sure I'll enjoy the third once it's released on Steam. Square Enix has announced the full trilogy will be out by spring of 2015, which is great news. But why, some may ask? Why would I be so excited? Besides the fact that Final Fantasy XIII is in my top 3 favorite Final Fantasy games of all time, it marks a huge turning point for Square Enix and the overall approach Japanese publishers are taking. Square Enix about a year and a half ago announced and released a PC re-release of Final Fantasy VII along with a statement, "We'd like to see more Final Fantasy franchise on PC." They followed through releasing at this time, Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII, which is essentially re-releases, and then Final Fantasy III and Final Fantasy IV, which are mobile ports of the DS recreations. But those titles are in a state where there are multiple versions everywhere. I personally own 3 different versions of Final Fantasy III. But Final Fantasy XIII is far closer to modern, and is the first, what I would call, ultra-production game to make it to PC that was never on it to begin with. Although you could argue 7 and 8 are those high production types, they were also released on PC at the time, even if they were not impressive ports. But what does this really mean? What this means is Square Enix is actually serious. Final Fantasy XIII released on the 360 and PS3 and, even though they are 6 to 7 years old, are still considered modern systems. People still play them. Final Fantasy XIII runs on a modern engine that is still being used, meaning if Square is willing to port 13, then we could easily see more titles in the franchise in future releases, such as, dare I overhype, Final Fantasy XV. We've also seen other Japanese publishers and developers going this route as well. Most, if not all of us, remember the terrible port that Dark Souls was. Resolution cap and terrible controls had to be fixed with mods. But From Software saw their fans struggle and decided to step up their development skills for PC and release Dark Souls 2 on PC with much improvement. Sega has also stepped this direction with their MMO Phantasy Star Online 2. Although Phantasy Star Online 2 is available on Vita, it's cross-platform and nothing is compromised on the PC side of things for this to exist. So what does this mean for gamers? For gamers, it's a rather obvious conclusion. We get more games to play. If you happen to be a PC gamer exclusively, or you happen to just not play any of the Final Fantasy XIII games, now's your chance. No matter how much hate they got, I still love them. They are far from bad games, and, as always, more choice is never a bad thing. These releases are also going to be undoubtedly cheaper than the console release. Final Fantasy XIII at this time is $15 or your regional equivalent, and sales are popping up here and there to pre-order it even cheaper. This also marks another important point for gamers and the industry in general, where you're going to be getting more PC games with actual PC features, and even if the port is absolutely terrible, we have very talented people that can fix things up as we saw with games like Dark Souls. More choice should never be feared from PC gamers. It's what makes the PC such a powerful platform. But, you may ask, what does this mean to developers in the industry as a whole? Is this a good or bad thing? Well, I argue it's both. Now before you go raging on, how could this be bad, or rant how Final Fantasy is ruined, let me explain my points. On a positive side, we'll be seeing more PC games with full features list. With higher interest from publishers to develop PC games, engines are going to be pushed to the limits to deliver optimal games, and developers are going to be pushed to produce for PC. Most of us into development know that porting a PC game to console produces overall better quality for both versions in most cases. Not always, but mostly. So in theory, we'll see overall better games, but there is one thing. Exclusivity is dying even more. The only thing holding me to wanting a console was, in fact, Final Fantasy XV. I am not gonna lie, I wanted to play Final Fantasy XV, and before now my hopes of ever trying it without a console was gone. But now it's all but assured I'll be waiting my time for a PC version. So how is this bad? Well, more developers are moving to PC, meaning less people are buying consoles. Less people buying consoles lowers the market. Lower market on consoles means less console games. Less console games means less possible ports, and lower developer numbers. It's all just theory, but if it happens to be true, it could end the console's existence. We've already seen hints everywhere that the consoles are dying, and I don't think it's necessarily a good thing. But this may just be a byproduct of the failing console generation. But I'll stop this topic here and talk on another time. Feel free to continue the discussion with me and others either in the comments or over on Twitter, a link below and at the end of the video. Alright, Spirit Play and Crystal Grimoire news! Crystal Grimoire doesn't have much news this time around, but that's alright. For both Spirit Play and Crystal Grimoire, I've released a new subsite on my personal site, links below. Spirit Play Impression Series is also off to an amazing start, so big thanks to everyone watching it. I do have a few new episodes in the works, most notably Dead Island Epidemic. I have decided to wait on when games release into an open state, however. Currently Dead Island Epidemic is in a pay-for-entry closed beta, so I may decide to wait until they announce the open beta and release a video around then to ensure that I get the closest to live impression so I don't provide any misleading information. Spirit Play also has a new series started, Dark Souls. If you've ever wanted to watch me fail, now's your chance. This has been Michael Stanich, aka Spirit Shard. Like, comment, and subscribe as you see fit, or dislike if you hate me. See you all next time. Peace.